Hi everyone. In your science news this week, some of the Himalayan mountains have shrunk, an out-of-control satellite crashes back down to Earth, and Tim Peake, the UK astronaut, finishes off his Soyuz training. This is your weekly science news with me, the UK astronaut. So some of the mountains in the Himalayas seem to have shrunk by a metre in height. Now this all follows the earthquake that was in Nepal recently. Now the Himalayan mountains are actually normally rising. This is due to tectonic plates the Himalayas are made of actually being pushed upwards. However, the earthquake has actually squashed some of the crust underneath the Himalayan mountains, and this seems to have made them shrunk. Now Mount Everest, the biggest mountain on Earth, is also part of the Himalayas, but scientists haven't yet studied Mount Everest to see whether it's shrunk or grown since, because some of the mountains are actually also growing. As some of them shrink down, some of them actually grow upwards as well because of this earthquake. Now there are a lot more mountains and a lot more analysis to be done on these mountains, but there's obviously a lot more problems in Nepal that people have to care about first. But eventually scientists will get around to studying all these mountains and trying to understand what caused this and what effect this earthquake has had on the height and the range of the Himalayas. An out-of-control Russian spacecraft has crashed back down to Earth in the Pacific Ocean. The spacecraft that was actually launched and was taking supplies up to the International Space Station. But in the last couple of weeks, scientists in Russia lost communications with this spacecraft. And as this happened, they lost control of the spacecraft, they were unable to control it and tell it where to go. And so what happened is it crashed back down to Earth. So it didn't manage to get to the International Space Station. Now scientists were really worried that where this would actually crash on Earth and it could have caused some damage or injure people as this giant spacecraft crashed back down and hit the surface of the Earth. But actually, fortunately, it seems to have crashed in the Pacific Ocean, and in fact most of it was burnt up in the atmosphere anyway, so it only would have been small parts that actually crashed back down to Earth. Now you might think this is a worry for the International Space Station, that they're obviously going to miss these supplies of food and water and oxygen, but it turns out the International Space Station has a lot of supplies in stock anyway, so it still has a good few months of enough supplies, and what they'll do is they'll send up another spacecraft and more supplies up to the International Space Station soon. So the UK-born astronaut Tim Peake has finished off his final Soyuz testing. So Soyuz is the spacecraft that's going to take Tim Peake up to the International Space Station. And obviously all the astronauts have to go through a lot of training and testing to make sure that they can do all the things on board the Soyuz that they need to do. Things such as docking, landing, re-entry, launch, all these kind of things. And Tim Peake has finally finished off all of this training, which means he's now qualified to go up to the International Space Station. So he actually got up in November this year and he's going to go up for 6 months' time. So it's really good that he's finally finished all the training and he's now set, along with the other astronauts, to launch in only 6 months' time. So there you have it, that's your weekly science news. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, but otherwise I'll see you guys all soon. You may know the children's nursery rhyme, "Twinkle twinkle little star, how I wonder what you are." You may have also looked up at the night sky and wondered why the stars seem to twinkle. But despite knowing this nursery rhyme, you may not know why the stars seem to flicker in the night sky. So why is it that stars seem to twinkle?